And the trade standoff between the US and China, the world's two biggest economies, is shaking global markets and threatening to spiral further out of control. Washington had raised tariffs on Chinese imports to a staggering 145%. And within hours, Beijing retaliated, slapping up to 125% duties on American goods. And in his first comments since China imposed the 125% tariffs, Trump posted on his Truth Social account that America is doing well on their tariff policy, adding the matter is exciting, not just for America, but for the entire world. And Beijing says it will flat out ignore any future US tariff increases, dismissing them as economically irrational, stating that these hikes make zero business sense for anyone importing American products. Now, just to put all of this into context, this week has been like a financial earthquake, to say the least, with the aftershocks rattling stock markets and investor confidence worldwide. US President Donald Trump had earlier delayed some of the tariff hikes by 90 days, hoping to lure Beijing back to the talking table instead of diplomacy. What followed was economic warfare. Trump insists that these aggressive tariffs will help revive US industries and reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. But investors saw nearly $11 trillion wiped off US markets. And today's trading in US markets opened slightly lower, with the S&P 500 index down 0.57%. NASDAQ dropped 0.43%. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 0.69%. And the Chinese President Xi Jinping has taken a sharp jab at Trump's tariff policy, urging the European Union to join China in resisting what he calls, quote-unquote, unilateral bullying.
China and Europe should fulfill their international responsibilities, jointly uphold the trend of economic globalization and the international trade environment, and work together to oppose unilateral bullying. This is not only about safeguarding our legitimate rights and interests, but also about defending international fairness and justice and maintaining global rules and order.
And Donald Trump says he would love to strike an agreement with China, but also accuses Beijing of exploiting America for decades.
What happens with China? We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off beyond nobody. How people stood for it, sitting in my position, is not even believable. We're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did, and all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table. And I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well.
So with all of that playing out, the question is, what happens next? That is the trillion-dollar question, if you will. Speculation is mounting that China could use what analysts call the nuclear option, selling its massive pile of US Treasury bonds. At the start of this year, China held around $760 billion in US government debt, second only to Japan. Selling these could cause serious economic damage, bringing down bond prices, hiking US borrowing costs, and severely unsettling global financial stability. And on the other hand, the White House is reportedly considering removing Chinese companies from US stock exchanges. You heard that right. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, in fact, told Fox Business, I'm quoting here, everything is on the table. He said it will ultimately be Donald Trump's call. And if that move goes forward, the consequences will be enormous, to say the least. According to data, till March 7, around 285 Chinese companies were listed on US markets, estimated to be worth over $1.1 trillion. And this, by the way, includes tech giants like Alibaba with a $240 billion valuation, and several electric vehicle giants with a collective cap of over $50 billion. Experts are warning the outcome could be devastating.
This tariff escalation between China and the US continues. It will result in an 80% reduction between China and US trade. And the ripple effect of that across the board can be catastrophic.
So this trade war is not just a political spat. It is a high-stakes gamble in a way that is testing the limits of global economy. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.